Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Making an Impact with Zebu Nation. And today we have the second leg of the Eastern Conference semifinals. But before we get to that, let's take a look back at the playoffs. I realized in the first video I sort of forgot to look back at the rest of the playoffs. So let's do that now. Now here we have in the Eastern Conference, this is the wild card round. Columbus beat Atlanta in penalties after a 1-1 draw. And NYC beat Philadelphia Union with a goal, late goal, 72 minutes from Gooch versus 10-man Philadelphia. Bedoya gets sent off. It's in the 90th minute, so he got sent off in stoppage time, so that probably wasn't exactly what cost Philadelphia the game. But still, never good to go down a man when you're trying to come back from a 1-goal deficit. But there we go. So that's why we're playing NYC. And meanwhile, in the Western Conference, they had a couple of blowouts. Surprisingly, San Jose, a team that looked very good not too long ago, they get sent packing in the wild card round 3-1 to that pesky team, Houston Dynamo. 3 goals. Kyoto, Elise, and Walker Zimmerman, the central defender, gets a goal. Meanwhile, Shootout City in LA, Whitecaps beat the Galaxy. So two of the top teams early in the season are both out in the wild card round as Vancouver gets 5 goals, 5-4. That must have been one heck of a game. Let's take a look at that here. Vancouver, goal from Parker, their defender. Osorio with 2 goals. Gomez with a goal. And Tibert off the bench in the 78th minute. Gets a goal. Outstanding. Meanwhile, LA tried their hardest. Alessandrini with a 9.1 rating and 2 goals. Dom Dwyer, they got a lot of firepower. Gio Dos Santos had an assist. João Pedro is on the team. Their defender, Skelvik, also had a goal. So it was a great game out there. Too bad our game wasn't quite as good. We go into the next round here. Orlando City and Columbus drew 1-1 in the first leg of their semifinal matchup. Meanwhile, we got the 2-1 comeback victory over NYC. They scored early in the 5th minute. We came back in the 11th minute and the 74th minute through a penalty from Kyle Larin. So that was an excellent comeback. Great to come into the next leg. Meanwhile, over in the Western Conference, LAFC takes on Vancouver, beats them 1-0 after Tibert, the guy who scored a goal in the last game, gets sent off in the 84th minute. So let's put Vancouver a little bit behind the 8 ball. And meanwhile, look at the Houston Dynamo. They are running for another cup appearance. 3-2 over Portland in the first leg. Owen with a hat trick, 3 goals. Meanwhile, he goes up against Luna, who had 2 goals. So it was a little duel there between those 2 players. That brings us to this week. Orlando versus Columbus. Montreal versus NYC. Let's go. Must respond. We are going to stick with the 4-1-2-3. It sort of worked for us. You know, if we need to switch to the 4-2-4, we can do that. But for now, I mean, look at all these partnerships we got. We got partnerships at every level. Well, I mean, you can't have partnerships with the striker. That's, I guess, one drawback of this particular formation is your striker is the only guy left there on an island. But I guess if you got to leave somebody on the island, it might as well be him. You know, because theoretically, he's one of your best players, and you can just, you know, send the ball to him. You don't need a lot of chemistry, but I don't know. I kind of prefer a little chemistry. It goes well with strikers, I think. I mean, those are the guys you want to score your goals. So that's the drawback of this formation. There's just no way around it. No way to sugarcoat it as much as I would like to sugarcoat it. The drawback is there's no connection to your striker from anybody. That's why I like having the 2-striker formation. All right, so let's keep this going. Had some interesting news this week. I guess we can take a quick look at the club news while we figure this out. As I mentioned, we're working on a new deal for Mane. He signed a new deal, significantly less salary, $175,000. So that's, he was making $400,000. So that's a huge decrease. He's going to take a backup role as well. So, that was like the one way we were going to keep Mane around was if he would take a reduced contract, and he definitely did that. Leutwiler had a slight injury this week, but he's fine. He's back. He's going to be in the lineup. We've announced our World Cup qualifying player selection, so we're going to work on that with Portugal. Boxall is trying his best to make it into the team next year. He's 32 years old, but his stats, he's staying good. His attributes are looking fine. He's a good reserve player. And now he has Canadian citizenship, so he's no longer taking up an international slot. And just yesterday, he left his agent to make negotiations that much easier. So maybe there's now a slight chance we could keep Boxall around for another year. I don't know that we have a lot of right backs really clamoring to take his position. So maybe, we might have a super draft player or something like that, but we have no idea. We have no idea what the super draft's going to be, so we might have to sign Boxall at the end of the season and just keep him around. At this point, now that he's no longer an international player, there's no harm in keeping him around as long as he'll take a reasonable contract. If he takes 75, 85, whatever the minimum senior contract is, if we can give him that, we'll keep him around, no problem. Anything else? No. Kyle Larin was in the team of the week. There he is, the striker, the team of the week. Ebabisi from Portland. Luna with those 2 goals. Benitez, Owen Zimmerman from Houston. Kempin and Martinez from Columbus. Sands, the central defender from LA. And Louis from Atlanta United. Oh, and Alessandrini with the goals there in LA. So it's a very, very good team of the week, and that's what you'd expect in the playoffs. Leutwiler, he's, like I said, he's fine to come back and play. So here we are, even. This is interesting. They're not giving us a lot of faith even at home. Both of us in inconsistent form. Previous 13 matches, we've got 8 wins and 1 draw to our 2 losses versus NYC. So we really have New York City's number. I don't know why we wouldn't be favored. So let's go. We got a match at 2200 hours. 2200 hours. That's like 10 p.m. Seems late, but whatevs. Let's see, what else do we got here? Okay, so our bench and everything is pretty much the same. Duverne is back from his suspension, so that drops Boxall back to the bench. Other than that, it's the same. Vasquez, Petrasso, Jackson Amell, Andre, Pantami, Boxall, and Leutwiler on the bench. So let's get that going. And we're hoping for similar results. Maybe we'd like to get off to a little better start, but if we get the same results, that's fine. So, got Thiago in goal, Taylor and Duverne at the fullbacks, Bruno and Chevalier. Chevalier, he's going to be a fixture for us at central defense, I think, going forward. We're going to have to figure that out. I don't know if we're going to go to a 3-man defense. Might not go that far, but we got to figure out what to do. We got 3 young central defenders that we need to keep around or sell or something. So we got to figure out what to do. Anyway, Piet, Ramos, Lopez. Lopez is up for Rookie of the Year, so hopefully he can win that. Hopefully this little playoff run where he's getting a lot of starts will work in his favor. Raheem Edwards, D'Alessandro, and Larin up top. Meanwhile, they seem to have a mostly the same lineup as well. McMath, Matarrita, Romero. There's that name that I haven't been able to pronounce yet. Hontonji? Nah, forget it. Anyway, what's his first name? Is it like Chris or something? Cedric. All right. Cedric the Entertainer, central defense. Vilcevic, Salazar, and Higuita. Higuita is back in, so they've changed their defensive midfielders. Not Dax McCarty. Who am I thinking? Mix Mix is out of there. He got suspended, right, or injured or something in the last game. Anyway, Tajuri, Gooch on the wings. Martinez and Rodrigo up top again. So it's a little bit of change in the middle of their formation. So we'll see if that makes a difference or not. Pep talk. Go out there and carry straight on from the last match. Let's win. Opposition instrucciones. Let's go. Close down. No quarter for these boys. We're going to shut them out. We're going to shut them down. Matarita coming forward. And it looks like Vilsvik is likewise coming forward. So we shall do all of that. Tunnel talk. Assistant coach. Good man, good man. Here we are. Home crowd. Looks like a sellout. Or close to it. You know, we probably got to start thinking about a new stadium in the coming years. So we got to start saving up a little money. There's a foul right off the bat. No foul. Just, I guess you're just knocking over our players. We are in the whites again, by the way. Here's our first real highlight. Raheem Edwards gets the ball stolen. Higuita ends up with it. Let's see what happens here. He's going to send it forward. Tajuri, he likewise pumps it forward. Chevalier one-on-one with Rodrigo. Martinez gets the header again. That man, he's just better than our defense. I don't know what to say about it, but there we go. The light blue fans are happy. The dark blue fans less so. So again, they go up early. This time 1 minute in. Last game was 5 minutes in. Rodrigo beats Chevalier, and then Martinez just beats everybody else. 4 men around him. He wins the header. He's no good. So that evens things up 2-2, but we still have the 2 away goals, so I think we're still winning, technically. Duverne gets a throw into Lopez. Back to Duverne. See what he can do with it. Back to Lopez, who is wide open. Centers to Ramos. Is he going to look back to Duverne? He is, who is, again, wide open. Centers to Ramos, who's going to shoot it. Double deflection, and we're not going to get a corner out of that one. I think our man might have been offside anyway. Is this going to be another highlight-laden game? I mean, it's only 8 minutes in. We've already had a goal and several highlights. Here we go. Matarita with a corner. Sends it in. Bruno heads it out. Looks like Edwards is going to chase it down. He's going to bang it forward to Kyle Laren. See if he can get it out wide to D'Alessandro. You know he's streaking down that sideline. Using that pace. He's got men in front of the goal. Bad cross. But he gets it back. He gets it back. Drops it to Piet. Weird play. I guess he's not very good with his left foot, so he wasn't really going to try to bang that with his left foot. But still, I would have preferred a shot from... He was inside the 6-yard box. He might as well shoot it. But again, we get close, but not even a real chance. Bruno misses the header, but Chevalier is there. He saves the day. It's not many coaches that would start an 18-year-old in the playoffs. You know, I don't know your feelings on youngsters and whether you're that brave, but I don't know. I just don't care. Age is just a number to me. If you can play, you can play. Sometimes it gets me in trouble. I get a little too crazy with the youngsters. Here we go, Lopez. Speaking of youngsters, Lopez to Edwards. Ugh, bad pass. I mean, Lopez is less of a youngster. He's 21, I guess. Right? Somewhere's around there. 22, possibly? 21 now. So he's had a bit of a college career. So he's got a little bit of... Ooh, here's Laren. Gets the ball stolen. Sends it downfield. Taylor's going to scoop it up. Ramos and Lopez are just hanging out hip to hip. I would prefer a little spacing, boys. Let's space it out a little bit. Lopez. D'Alessandro. Can he make a play? Nope. Piet. Duverne is ranging around this near sideline. They might be looking for an overlap. D'Alessandro to Kyle Laren with a long shot. It's interesting to see D'Alessandro creeping inside. I didn't think that going inside was his deal. He moves into channels, I guess, and he gets forward as often as possible. But I don't know if he cuts inside. No, he just runs with the ball. Here's Piet. Sends one in. Chevalier can't get to it. Edwards gonna take the shot. Oh, Raheem Edwards with the goal. I mean, that was a stoppable shot, but McMath just, I think, misjudged the flight of the ball a little bit. And there we go, Piet off the set piece. Sort of the second phase of the set piece, just a left-footed banger from Edwards, and McMath can't stop it. So there we go. Decent amount of shots, but they're coming from long range. Well, if they go in, then who cares? It's Vilsvik to Martinez. Gooch. Here comes NYC. Nice tackle from Raheem Edwards. He is on fire. Lopez settles it down for Piet. We got to make a decision on Piet. He's only 25 years old. His contract is up. He's still one of our better players, but he's only 3 stars, and that's as good as he's going to get. And he wants a big contract. So I don't know. Here's Raheem Edwards to Kyle Larin with the header. Yes! There he is, playing big man ball right there. Nice cartwheel. Way to go. He's finally using that physicality. Raheem Edwards again. Just, getting out into space and then turning and serving it up. Kind of looked like it went off his shoulder, maybe even his arm. He's like chicken winging it. I don't think that's legal, but you know what? We'll take it. We'll take it. All right. 4-2 aggregate now. So we got a little bit of a cushion. 7 shots to 1. We are dominating. Only 2 on target, and we got 2 goals. Here's another highlight throw-in from Taylor. Lopez, nobody around him in midfield. Goes right to the semicircle. Risky pass to Duverne. Risky pass back to Lopez. Ramos has to clear things up. Piet, Lopez, Ramos. Kyle Larin gets it forward to Raheem Edwards. Is he going to get another one? He is. The amazing Raheem Edwards continues. The investment we made in this young man is paying off. You know, we brought him in because he was a leader, because he had a good attitude. He's got a little bit of foot speed. And it's paid off. It's paid off in a big, big way. Here it is. Goal. I don't know what it is about recording, and suddenly my voice just, I don't know. Problems of a part-time YouTuber. Kyle Larin tries to get the ball. 3-1 now. Here's, ouch, Chevalier with a monstrous tackle. He tackled the whole team right there. Raheem Edwards, you know they're double-teaming him now. He's a threat. Lopez, is he going to make a play? No, he's going to shy away from that. He and Ramos are still just tied at the hip, man. Spread out, dudes. There's a steal from Piet. Bruno to Lopez. It's like I wish there was a way to tell these guys to... Oh, there's Lopez. Gets it forward. Raheem Edwards again on the run using that speed. What? Offside? Yes, offside. I was going to say another goal. A hat trick for Raheem Edwards, but no. So, tactics. Is there anything we can do to spread these boys out? I mean, they're both on support. We could make him a Mazzala and send him out wide. How about that? Send Ramos out wide a little bit. That might be a bad idea, but at this point, we're up 2 goals. So we can afford some bad ideas. That's probably not a healthy way to think about it. Here we go. NYCFC trying to work the ball past our defense. Our midfield has been very active today. Central defense has been mostly strong, except for these aerial balls. Rodrigo going for it, heads it down. Martinez Can't blame that on my tactical change. Tactical change hasn't gone through yet. That's just our back line has some aerial problems, and I don't know why. Maybe it's the fact that we have the 18-year-old in the back line, because I guess technically he got beat, although I think that was Duverne who he went up against. Yeah, we'll make that change. Duverne's not the greatest leaper in the world. He's 6 foot tall, 11 jumping reach, 14 heading though, so he's okay. How's Boxall in that area? 16 jumping reach, 6'2", 13 heading, so he would actually be better in that situation. But we give up the offensive side of things. So let's not mess with it. NYC down 2-3, down 5-2 aggregate. So we're still looking good there. We'll go into the dressing room. Pep talk. Don't get complacent. Keep focused. And let us go. All right, second half. 45 minutes to move on to the next round. Chevalier is going to bang it downfield for Kyle Aaron. He's going to win the header back to Lopez. Get it to him, Lopez. Good pass. Kyle Aaron in between 4 defenders. He gets the ball stolen. So it might have been nice if Lopez led him a little bit more, but again, he's got that poor passing attribute. His passing's going up. He's at a 9 now, so that's good. But we need to get him in double digits to work with that 15 vision he's got, so he can see the pass. He just can't always make the pass. 15 decision making. I mean, he would be such a great midfielder if we can just get his technicals up there. And I don't know if there's any specific way to train technicals. If you know a way, let me know. Like, does tutoring help with technicals at all, based on who you tutor them with, or better coaches maybe? Getting a better technical coach would help raise the technical stats of our players. That seems reasonable, but I don't know if that's actually the mechanic or not. But I could use that, because a lot of our guys, especially the guys from the academy, they come in with, decent physical stats, pretty good mental stats. It's just usually technically where they're down. And that's how it is with a lot of North American players. Very frank. Most North American players are behind the curve when it comes to technicals. D'Alessandro gets tackled, but it goes right to Kyle Aaron, and he does not score, but he recovers the ball. Tackled D'Alessandro. We're putting on all kinds of pressure here, but New York's defense is up to the task. Yeah, so just in general, and there's a lot of reasons for that, obviously. Not a great academy systems, and not great, the kids aren't playing soccer 24/7 from the time they can walk, like in a lot of countries around the world. But still, it'd be nice to be able to raise that technical level once they get a little higher in their level of play. I've noticed Super Draft players have decent technical stats, but it's usually very specifically focused. Here's Piet with a corner. Edwards centers to D'Alessandro. Is he going to take the shot? He does. McMath is there. It's usually like if they're a central defender, they got good marking, tackling, heading, and that's it. They're not well-rounded, let's put it that way. Here's Piet again with the corner. D'Alessandro has it. Centers to Raheem Edwards. Is he going to take another shot? He is. Ill-advised. There's Cedric the Entertainer. Cedric Huntonji. Possibly. Anyway. Ratings-wise, Chevalier's got a 6.5. That's not great. Here's Junior Ramos now taking the corner. He sends one in. Kyle Aaron. I mean, that's another phase of our play, our corner play, is to have that striker right down the middle for the header at basically in line with the penalty spot. But like you got to concentrate. You got to put that on frame. There's Bruno winning a header, but it goes to NYC. Higuita looking to make a play. Vilcevic now coming forward from that fullback position. He's triple covered. Higuita gets it back and just sort of desperately sends it forward. Cedric is coming off, and Trevino is coming on. Okay. 83 minutes down. We still got the 2-goal aggregate lead. They do have 2 away goals now, so our away goal cushion isn't there. Does no longer exist. And if they get the 2 goals they need to tie it up, they win because they'll have 4 away goals. We can't have that. Edwards, Ramos, get it back to Edwards. Come on. Lopez gets it out wide to D'Alessandro, but he's double covered. Martinez splits the defense. He's got Chevalier out of position, but Piet comes back to recover. I mean, this is why I don't want to get rid of him. He's such a backstop for us. He makes a lot of difference defensively. D'Alessandro out wide. He gets by one man. He is in the open. Centers for Kyle Aaron. Header not on frame. We got D'Alessandro coming back next season. We got, I don't know. It's going to be a changed roster next year, but there's a few guys we got to keep around. And Piet is making a case to be one of those guys who sticks around. I mean, look at that, 25 years old. He's only worth $550,000. But he's so solid. 17 determination, 15 work rate. Technical's pretty decent. Why he's taking corners, I don't know. But here's Matarrita. Full time. All right, we're just chatting and forgot what time it was. There we go. 5-3 aggregate victory in the second leg. Raheem Edwards, player of the match. 2 goals and an assist, 9.2 rating. This kid, I mean, he's not a kid anymore. He's like 24 now, 25. Valued at $1 million. So his stock is just on the rise. And I don't know, I have this problem with my rosters is I groom these guys until they get to be 24, 25 years old, and then I look at them and say, well, they've reached a peak, so what do I do with them now? A lot of times I just let them go, and it's usually to the detriment of the roster. Because I look at the next model coming down the pipeline, and I'm like, hey, it's, it's got cup holders and, electric seats and whatnot. So let's trade it in for the new model. But a lot of these guys who are 24 and 25, they should be the core of your team by the time they reach that age. Ramos is only 22. I said Piet is 25. He still has, 4 good years left on his career before he starts going downhill. This should be the peak, should be the prime of his career. Bruno, 24 years old. I mean, this is as good as Bruno's probably going to get. He could maybe get a little bit better, but this is good enough. 24 years old. If we could have another 5 years of this, it'd be acceptable. But I'm crazy like that. Okay. We'll figure that out in the offseason. But for now, we have delayed the offseason with this victory. Very good. Let's see. Very pleased. Very pleased. Let's go. Okay. So, first leg triumph helps Montreal. 5-3 aggregate. Montreal wins the semifinals. So we've made it to the finals. We've reached our goal that the board set forth. Send the assistant to there. Duverne perfected his ability to play his new position. That's good. So I guess we could take him off of that, I guess. Yeah. Edwards drives Montreal forward. Let's praise Edwards. 9.2 rating, 2 goals and assists. You were superb in front of goal. Good man, good man. Let's move forward a little bit. We got 3 players on international duty. Who are those 3? Hopefully they're not important players. Who do we got here on international duty? Nobody of importance. Is it lone players? Doesn't say. I can't say. I can't see. Can't see who's on international duty squad. I'm just wasting time now. Not loan. International duty. 10 November 9th. So, Pantami. Really? Herrera. Jaguar? No. That can't be. I guess it's good we started Chevalier instead of Jaguar, because Jaguar was out on international duty. Go Fig. Go Fig. All right. Let's see if we've reached the point. We've been scouting a lot of people, especially a lot of Portuguese players. See if they're any good or not. Next week's training intensity, whatever. All right, let's look at our competitions here. So we have Orlando City in the next round. Let's take a look at semifinals. How did they beat Columbus? They beat them 2-1 on aggregate with a 1-0 victory. So Orlando is playing pretty good defense. Let's see if their stats back that up at all. How are they looking? Goals scored, no Orlando. Headers. Orlando 5th in headers. Oops. Didn't want to click on that. Possession. No possession. Tackles. 3rd in tackles, so they seem to be defensive. Tied for 1st in the league with goals allowed. Only 37 goals allowed on the season. Meanwhile, we have allowed 43 goals, so they're definitely a better defensive team than we are. Most shutouts, Orlando City, 17 shutouts on the season. We've got 11. So yeah, it looks like we're going to be up for a little bit of a defensive battle versus Orlando, and that could spell trouble, because sometimes against these defensive teams we lose our minds and we can't score any goals. So I got to figure out what we're going to go with. Are we going to stick with the Burning Man formation? It's worked well so far. Or are we going to go spice things up with the 4-2-4? So we'll figure that out next week, I guess. Oh, yeah, I guess we could look at the other side of the playoffs. See who's in the Western Conference. LA versus Portland. LA beat Vancouver 4-0. Wow, LAFC that is. None of this LA Galaxy business. It's LAFC. Football Club Los Angeles. Ah, man, I thought Vancouver was going to give them a better game. And then Portland 2-1. They win 4-4 on away goals over Houston. So Houston's playoff run ends. They'd done a pretty good job up to now, but they just couldn't handle Portland. Portland is the highest scoring team in the league. You know, Fernando Adi, look at that, 24 goals. You know, they got a lot of guys who played very well this season. Pardey, there's Adi again, Milano. So just a lot of guys at the top of the league playing so well. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see who we see in the finals, either LA or Portland. But first, we got to get by the strong defense of Orlando City. So, we're going to end it there. And until next time, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.